Welcome to the Stephen Hasner Show. Today we're going to talk about the process of a workers' compensation case and answer some questions related to workers' comp. So there's a variety of types of workers' compensation cases and accidents, but let's give an example. Someone's working in a factory, they do some lifting, they're lifting a box, and they feel pain immediately in their back. The question is, what do they do next? So under the workers' comp law, you're required to give notice to your employer. So what you should do is contact your supervisor immediately, give them notice, explain the facts, what happened, and be specific as to what body parts were injured in the accident. So after you report it to your employer, of course, if you're injured, you need to request medical care. So you need to ask, I need to get to a doctor. I'm in a lot of pain. I don't know what to do. Under the Georgia workers' comp law, the employer can have what's called a panel of physicians. And it's supposed to be posted and explained to you before you have an accident. But when you request medical care, they may give you a copy of a panel to choose a doctor. Now, a lot of employers don't follow that process. They'll have a panel, but they'll just tell you to go to what I call a doc in the box, which is Concentra or an industrial clinic, which is fine, but technically you're supposed to have a choice on that panel. You don't have to go to industrial clinic. You can choose an orthopedic doctor because it's required under the law for that panel to have that type of doctor. If you're going to hire a lawyer, it's best to do it sooner than later because we can help choose the best doctor on that panel. We can get a copy of it and make that selection for you. And so what you tell your employer when you gave notice should be the same as what you're telling the doctor. And make sure you're not just informing the doctor of the most significant or what's acute in pain, because the records will demonstrate what you said to the doctor. So let's say your back is the worst, but you're also having some leg or knee pain. You want to make sure you're telling the doctor both because they both show up in the records, because if you need treatment for that knee in the future, the fact that it showed up in that initial report is going to be what's most helpful. So when you call our office, we have an intake team that's going to take your information. They're going to communicate that information to multiple people, including me. We're analyzing it as a viable case that we can help you. Let's say it is. That intake team will send you a contract. It's a workers' contract to sign. Once you sign that contract, we assign the case to an attorney and a paralegal who specialize in workers' compensation cases. You've done the intake, you've answered some questions about the accident, but that intro call with the paralegal, most of our lawyers will sit in on that call because we want to know everything about your case, your history, any prior accidents, any prior claims. So we take that information. Every case has a POA or a plan of action. You're informed of that plan, and then we start executing to help you with your case. In any workers' compensation case, then once we have that initial plan, any plan's going to include making sure you go to the doctor consistently. We're helping you pick a doctor off the panel, being consistent with your medical care. And then, of course, if you're unable to work, we want to make sure you're getting the weekly checks you deserve. So to file a comp claim, if you're getting treatment and weekly checks, there's already something filed at the State Board of Workers' Comp demonstrating that you're receiving weekly checks. So you don't technically need a notice of claim, but the first thing we do when we get a case in, we're always filing a notice of claim because that's protecting the 1-year statute of limitations if for some reason you weren't receiving weekly checks. So we file that on every case to protect you. You could technically file by mail a notice of claim yourself at the State Board of Workers' Compensation, but most employees or injured workers aren't going to do that on their own. As long as the doctor has you out of work or you're on restrictions and the employer doesn't have work available, you'll have rights to weekly checks. Most cases, though, the max you generally can recover on a case that's not catastrophic is 350 weeks. Choosing the right lawyer is obviously very important. I think two great ways is one, referrals. Do you have a friend, family member who was represented by a lawyer that obviously they had a positive experience with? Two, reviews. You want to look at reviews closely to make sure you feel like they're from an actual client. All of our reviews at Hasner Law are former clients. Some firms may use other people to boost up their numbers, but we will only use former clients, and you can tell that we're really helping our clients. Our contract is a contingency fee agreement. So it's contingent on us recovering something. So we get nothing unless we recover something for you. You won't owe us anything unless we recover something on your case. If you don't recover, if you lose your case, same thing, you owe nothing. So in determining what your case is worth, we're looking at really those three buckets of weekly checks, medical treatment, and for permanent partial disability benefits. inclusive of anything in the past or what the future exposure is of the insurance company. We're looking at and to fill those buckets when we're evaluating a case. But the reason you hire a lawyer is because we're maximizing that. So from the start of your case, we're doing everything we can that when it's time to make a demand, that we've got the case in the right posture to make the highest demand we can make in the cases at its highest value. Yeah, it's a big part of our systems and processes that our clients are informed every step of the way and that you're getting consistent communication. You're 100% talking to your pair at least every 30 days. But if you call us with questions, we're responding to you in a timely manner. Again, in your case, not ours. We're here to serve you. Every case is unique in how long the case lasts. A lot of it's how significant of injury is involved in the case. I would say anywhere from 6 to 9 months on a non-surgical case, but it can be a year to 2 years. And then it's determined if the case is litigated or not. That could even take longer. It definitely varies based on the injury involved in the case. Most cases don't go to trial. Most cases settle without it. But a lot of cases are litigated. In workers' comp, insurance companies all the time are leveraging hardworking people. But a lot of those cases don't. It's a small percentage, but many do. Hopefully this was helpful and informative. If you're injured in a workers' compensation accident or any type of accident, please call us at Hasner Law. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time. Was that too detailed or?